happens if you are a mullah in Iran and you identify as gay? Well, that's what happened with one man that the BBC did an interesting profile on. Let's take a quick look.
I meet him in a mosque in Istanbul where he has come to pray. He told me he tried to keep his sexual orientation quiet, but Taha's life was exposed, especially when he started conducting gay weddings in secret.
قطعا من این کارو میکردم. حاکمیت بعضی موقع پیام میدادن، مثلا حالا از طرف یا اینکه اداره اطلاعات احضار میکرد، اطلاعات سپاه یا وزارت اطلاعات، و میگفت که چرا این کارا رو داری میکنی؟ چرا با این افراد در تماسی؟ تو روحانی هستی، نباید این کارا رو بکنی. از اون طرف هم افرادی بودن که اینها میگن کاسه داغ‌تر از آش. اینها مذهبی هایی بودن که دوستان من بودن، میگفتن ما تو رو گیر میاریم و تا اعدام جلو میریم.
Istanbul is unique in the Muslim world for the tolerance of homosexuality. The city has several gay bars and clubs. Taha wants to take me to one of them, but before that he needs to get ready in his way. Taha brings me to a spot on Istiklal Street, famous for its gay scene. Venues like these are new in Istanbul as well. Now we are sitting in one of them. On one side I have Taha, the gay mullah. On another side I have two Iranian gay refugees who fled from the country. Ramti left Iran a year ago and plans to get married to his partner. He hopes Taha will conduct their ceremony. For him, a gay mullah is a big deal.
چون ما تا قبل از این همیشه آخوندها رو به عنوان کسی میشناسیم که قرار ما رو مجازات بکنن، قرار ما رو پای چوبه دار دعا برامون بخونن. ولی الان من کسی رو میتونم ببینم کنار خودم که برای من خطبه عقد داره میخونه.
Farid, not his real name, left Iran 1 month ago. He is not out to his family and doesn't want to be identified. Do you trust him?
واسه من اعتماد کردن خیلی سخته، چون که توی ایران توی جوی بودم که همش ترس و وحشت بوده.
That's such an interesting and complex video because, I don't know, I have all sorts of feelings and emotions when I watch it, right? Like, on one hand, I'm like, why? Why do you still identify as a mullah when it's made you flee your own country for Istanbul and it's made you feel like you're less than human because of your sexual orientation? And then the couple that's about to get married by him, why do you want to get married by a mullah, right? Like, like I'm about to get married. I don't want a priest to marry me, right? I just don't believe in it. I don't want it. I'm going to have my boss do it instead. So I don't know. It's just, it's really interesting. But on the other hand, faith is a powerful thing for some people, right? And some people take the good out of the religion and that's what they identify with and they just kind of ignore the bad.
So I grew up very secular and so we didn't have much religion. In fact, I told a story in one of the post games for the members where a friend of mine was getting married. He was not only secular, but he was atheist way before I was. He helped me see the light. And but he happened to be marrying someone who had converted into Islam. Their whole family used to be Jewish and they converted to Islam. So they had the zeal of the converted a little bit more. And so they wanted to use a mullah to get married. And I'm like, really? A mullah to get married? It was so foreign for me as a Turk. And then the mullah, of course, stops the ceremony in the middle and is like, okay, now you give dowry to her. And my friend's like, dowry? What are we talking about? Like, no. That wasn't part of the plan. He's like, no, it is part of Islam and you must do it. So he had to interrupt the ceremony and he had to figure out some expensive thing that he had to get in the middle and give to the family. Like, he's like, what's going on here? This is why I didn't want to use a mullah. Okay, and that's like the least of what could happen. Now, I'm sure that there are literally a billion Muslims out there who get married by mullahs and it's perfectly fine and it's the happiest day of their life and they know what to expect and it's part of their culture and it's totally fine. It wasn't part of my culture growing up, so I'm a little, discombobulated by it. But if you're gay, then your point, Anna, is so hard to overcome. So number one, look, all the religions, unfortunately, are against gay people. So a lot of people say, no, Christianity is... No, it does say in the Old Testament that you shall not lie with a man, right? Now, it also says that you shouldn't eat shrimp. It also says you shouldn't wear clothing of 2 different fabric or whatever it is, right? All these insane laws that we're all completely in violation of. So if you eat shrimp or you're gay, why bother believing in something like that tells you that you're going to hell for it? So that's part of the reason why I left religion, because it doesn't make any sense. And if Islam and Christianity and Judaism, and Judaism is the Old Testament, let's keep all those religions, right? Tell you that what you are is wrong and you'll go to hell for it, well, then the natural reaction, I think, is, well, then I don't believe your nonsense.
Yeah.
And let alone being a mullah. But that's the thing, Anna. Like, when you grow up in a certain culture, it is so hard to overcome that cultural bias, right? So there's so many gay priests in the world. You're thinking, like, just move on with your life. You don't need that. But for them, being a moral person, as they were growing up, they were brainwashed to believe that if you're a really moral person, you would be a priest, you'd be a good Christian. So they're trying to, and part of that I love, that those good Christian priests are trying to pull Christianity towards a better position. This mullah, almost single-handedly, is trying to pull Islam in a better direction. So part of me thinks, fantastic.
I know, and that's part of the reason why I'm torn as well, because you need people. Look, religion is one thing, right? But for the vast majority of religious people, it's not about the religion, it's about the culture involved in the religion, right? And so Christian culture is one thing, but the doctrine is another. Same for Muslims. There's Muslim doctrine, and then there's the culture. And so there's accepted culture, there's extremist culture. And so when it comes to the moderates, the innocent people that are like peace-loving and they're more open-minded, yeah, I think that people who are courageous enough to stand up and want to change that culture have the ability to do so. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting story. It's much more complex than people realize, you know. But I think it's super brave for that mullah to do what he's doing, because it's ballsy, even in a country like Turkey. Got to keep it real.
Yeah, well,
With how things are going right now.
yeah, I know. Turkey's government has become far more fundamentalist, and so some of the freedoms that I grew up with and my generation grew up with are beginning to be curtailed a little bit, not anywhere near the degree that they are in places like Iran, but it is going in the wrong direction. It's the hardest thing in the world is to get rid of that original indoctrination, man. And, you know, it's amazing that people can't see the most obvious thing in the world. So all the people who were born into Islam, almost all, 99.9% think, well, obviously Islam is the right religion. All the people who are born as Christians think, obviously Christianity is the right religion. Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, etc. Now, there's some variability in there, but not much. Really, you all got lucky and happened to be born into the one correct religion. Boy, what a stroke of luck for the whole world, even though it's all different religions and they all say slightly to significantly different things. How could you not see that that's irrational?
Yeah, it's irrational, and people can believe whatever the hell they want to believe, as long as they're not going around killing people over it.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
The best point is that there are, as you said, Anna, there is a spectrum of different kinds of culture within every religion. And so that's what you got to look out for. And most of it in most of the religions are perfectly moderate because they're just regular human beings. But there is a fundamentalist strain in some of the religions, and almost all the religions, that is super dangerous. And that's what we've got to avoid and fix.